everyone, and welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small towns. I'm your host for today, Deb Barnett. Our other hosts, Russell Williams and Jennifer Olson, are taking the day off, but you can find them next time on the podcast. I'm with Southern Illinois Now. You can find us at southernillinoisnow.org, and we focus on economic development for the 17 southernmost counties in Illinois. First, we want to thank our sponsors, Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond, Harley-Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, and the Watermark Auto Group Foundation. If you are new to the podcast, you have found us, obviously, either on our YouTube channel or on your favorite podcast platform. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe, share, do all the things to raise awareness of small town big business, and you will also get the newest episode the minute it drops. On Small Town Big Business, we interview small business owners and founders about how and why they're successful in small towns, like right here in Marion, Illinois, or in the case of today's guests, Murphysboro, Illinois. So I want to welcome Victoria Johnson and Kris Johnson from Labrador Lakehouse Inn and Wedding Venue. That's a mouthful, but welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having us.
I am so excited that the two of you could join us today, and we want to hear all about Labrador Lakehouse. But first, I want to hear the story of what brought you to Southern Illinois, because you weren't born and raised in the region, right?
No.
So, Victoria, do you want to kick it off? How did you find Southern Illinois?
Sure. I actually found the house on Zillow while I was living in Washington State.
And this is the Labrador Lakehouse.
It is.
Okay.
It is. It was pretty much vacant. It was on the market for 3 years. And I had a job of over 10 years at the local college in Washington. And I thought, I need to do something for myself. I wanted to have a store. I wanted to live on the top, have the store below, and all the real estate in the town Walla Walla, Washington was just really expensive. It's zoned for wineries. So I decided to look elsewhere. And my friend at the time lived in Arkansas. She's from there. And she thought, have you ever thought of the Midwest? And I was, Nope, I've only lived in Washington and Arizona. And so I started looking on Zillow, and this house that I ended up purchasing in Murphysboro, it was beautiful. It just sort of needed, some love and some decorating and cleaning. And so, but it's huge. It's 7,300 square feet. It was a great price.
And was it a family home at the time? Was it a venue at the time?
It was supposed to be a venue.
Okay.
They had a bigger property. The builders had a great idea. So it was built to be something like that because every room has its own bathroom, its own thermostat, its own door locking. So I know that it was going to be that. It just never came to fruition.
So you made that dream come true.
I did.
Okay.
I thought, and I had organized all the community events for the college I worked at for the athletic department, and just was involved in the whole process of ordering the food and all the details. And I thought, I can do this. This is something that is in my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. And so I just kept looking for venues, and this house just kept hanging out on Zillow for sale.
Calling your name.
Yep. And I called a local realtor. She had a nice picture. I thought she looks like a nice person. So I call her, ask her about the house. What's going on? Why is it on the market for 3 years? Why is it such a great price? I'm not rich. I've just worked at the college for over 10 years. And so she got me in touch with a contractor, the concrete guy, the inspector that had already inspected the house a few years ago for a sale that fell through. And they all told me the same story of the history of that house, which was amazing, because I thought, why is it not selling? Why isn't a local person buying this house?
Sure.
Did something crazy happen there? What do I need to know? And they all said, it's a great house. Nothing wrong with the house. It's beautiful. It's just a lot, And so, because it wasn't really a family home, and it was supposed to be a business, and I ended up going in escrow from Washington State, had never seen the house, never saw the area.
So you didn't even come to Southern Illinois. It was
Nope.
Sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a little crazy. But But I did come for the inspection.
Okay.
And then after hearing, everyone had the same story. So I thought either the rumor mill is real good, or they're all telling me what the truth is. And they said the house is a great house. And so I went there during inspection and, saw what I was up against. And it was just cleaning and painting and obviously decorating and just
moving
loving it.
across the country.
Yes.
I mean, was that scary? Was that...
I did it. Yeah, I drove once by myself.
Okay.
And then the other time with a friend. So I did it twice with my dog. So yeah, it was. Yeah,
That's
it was
a big leap.
It was an adventure. I know everybody thought I was crazy. She was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And I thought, well, I was turning 50, so I thought I cannot be at this desk and for the rest of my life and just die here. I thought, no, I'm not. I have one more thing left in me to where I can still paint, I can still clean physically, and we'd renovated a couple homes before together.
Yeah.
So I knew she'd come out eventually.
So it's sort of a midlife renewal or midlife, looking at what you really want to do with your life.
Exactly.
That's really, that's great. And so we've referred to and Kris,
Yes,
we
my
introduced
sister.
her. So talk about, Kris, where do you fit into the puzzle and when did you join Victoria in this venture?
It was like two years later. I was with her day in and day out. I mean, we talked daily, and I try and uplift her, and because there was a lot that needed to be done originally. So
you weren't here on site during all of that, but you were more of the support
I
from
was.
afar. And the two of you are sisters.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Okay.
yes,
She's my older sister.
thanks.
But our mom had a stroke.
Okay.
So what happened, instead of us just being able to plan for her to come out, that derailed that idea. So she went to Arizona to be my mom's caregiver.
Okay.
And so when my mom had a stroke, I went there for a month and drove it's a long drive, from here to Arizona.
Yes.
And so then we just started talking, well, what if everyone's here in Murphysboro?
And you have a big house, plenty of room.
Well, I used to live there by myself when we would have guests because, that's the only place I had to live. And then so we ended up buying a small house in Murphysboro for my mom so that she could have, her space and because she had dementia too. So unpredictable with guests.
Sure.
So we wanted to make sure we could do both.
Sure. So you had the dream, you found the house, or the house found you and
Yes.
kept calling your name over a period of time. You
Yes.
finally made the leap, which is a big leap. I mean, I think anyone who goes into business, period, it's a leap of faith sometimes, right? But this was a leap of faith. This was a move across the country. And then Kris and your mom came after and provided that support as well. Tell us where you're at now. So you're how many years in?
5.
5 years in.
Yep. Just hit our 5-year anniversary.
So tell us about Labrador Lakehouse Inn and Wedding Venue. Just kind of take us behind the scenes. Like what's that all about?
So we opened November of 2019. We all know what happened in March of 2020. So it was winter when I opened. So everybody kept saying, oh, the tourists are going to come. It's going to be fine. So I had to just get myself through winter. Things were booking. We have lodging. So there's 6 suites, 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. And then down in the reception area, well, it's the basement, but it's beautiful. But that was going to be the reception area, which was the last on our list to do. So we had gotten the rooms ready and painted and decorated and all. So we opened the rooms for lodging, and then COVID hit. So everything on the books, March was going to be my first profitable month, which I thought that's amazing after opening 5 months. And then everything on the books cleared except 2 weddings in October.
Wow.
So they had come in January, and one group came and they did a tour, and the basement was nothing. It was dirty. There was cobwebs. I hadn't even gone down there in probably 6 months. It was disgusting. So it was burgundy and green. And anyway, they did the tour. I explained my vision, and I said, oh, I'm going to have white tables and white metal chairs and banquettes, and so it's going to be white. Everything is going to be beautiful. And this one particular family, they booked for October in January. So COVID came. They're in a panic. Are you going to cancel? Everybody's canceling, the caterer, the this, the that. I said, I will never cancel the venue. Because I thought things were changing so fast. Like, how many people can meet? 50, and then it went down to, I don't know, 20, whatever. I said, you know what? You guys know the risks. Who knows what's going on? I'm not going to, you guys decide.
Sure.
So I stayed open, and then those 10 months I cleaned, we painted, put chairs together, tables, everything. And I just remember, so this was my first wedding. Because I stayed open for traveling nurses. So I just blocked off the foyer area, the living room, with actually a couple couches. So I would stay on the kitchen side, put everything upstairs, coffee pot, refrigerator, little fridge.
So you were adaptable. You made lemonade out of lemons, and you were adaptable, which I think for any business is really important.
And
especially during that time of COVID, but really I mean, there are shifts happening all the time that businesses have to adjust to. So really smart. Okay.
And I knew, and plus, no one was paying my bills. They said, oh, we're all in this together. No, nobody, I didn't qualify for any federal help because I was so new.
Exactly.
I fell into that crack of I don't have tax returns yet. So I stayed open and helped the traveling nurses, gave them great rates. They loved it. They came back until that contract was canceled. So the first wedding in October, I remember she came, because we opened up in the summer. Everybody did. So she comes upstairs. She was putting some things down in the reception area, and she's crying. And I'm like, what's happening? And she said, it is everything you said it was going to be. It's beautiful. And I started crying, and then we're hugging, and I'm thinking.
So they had to buy into the dream too, and the vision, because it wasn't done when they came.
It was not done. It was not even cleaned. Cobwebs, seriously. And, and just coming out of a horrific shutdown of COVID, and I didn't know anybody.
That had to have been such an encouraging moment for you, because I can imagine that was a really difficult time, and was for all business owners, I would say. But, even outside of COVID, as we mentioned, businesses have challenges. So how did you get through that time? It sounds like Kris was your, phone a friend and on speed dial.
She was.
But did you also build a community here in Southern Illinois of people who could help support you, or how did you get through that time?
It was tough. I actually had just gotten my business cards and flyers ready to go in May, early March, to go to the businesses and start saying, hey, and meeting my local business owners and doing that. And then, of course, I couldn't. So I didn't know anyone. I didn't talk to anyone. I knew a few people that would call and would want pictures taken there, and that's fine. We're outside. So I knew a few people, but no, I would have to I got on Facebook, and then I just started looking on Facebook of where they lived, if they were business owners, because I thought, well, someday I'm going to need a contractor or a this or a painter. And so I just started friending people that I didn't know, because I thought someday I'm going to want that.
That network and those connections.
Exactly. So, I was alone.
So a really difficult start, probably questioning everything.
Of course.
Okay, I've moved my life across the country. I bought this house, and now I can't even have anyone in it, for the most part. So fast forward 5 years. Is it everything you hoped for? And
it is. It was. It is. It's turning out to be fantastic. It's becoming, it's a work in progress. It's such a huge house, and it's just now us, and just finding good people to help us do things that we physically can't do. But it's customers come, guests come, they love it. Great reviews. People are having great experiences. So I am super proud of myself. I remember that first wedding and going down Chautauqua, across from the backside of my house, and taking a picture of their setup, because I'd never seen the house set up for a wedding, right? I mean, they had the arch and they had the chairs outside, and it was beautiful. And I just remember crying and just thinking, and I was alone, but just thinking I'm doing it. Like someone is actually here trusting me to have the best day of their life, you know? And I was like super proud.
You should be.
It was really an experience, but it's a work in progress.
You should be really proud. So I don't know which one of you want to chime in on this one, but I think for businesses, it's really important to differentiate yourself or separate yourself from the others. You know, what separates you from the other venues and makes you special. And I know you offer a lot of different services that a lot of other places maybe don't. So can you talk about how that came about and how you thought it's going to be more than just a house or a venue? We're really going to set ourselves apart. We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Well, you constantly have to be changing, you know, with the times and everything. And the one thing that Victoria does so well is she keeps dreaming. She does not stop, you know. She's go, go, go. And then I just sometimes can't keep up with her but I know, hey, I got to support her, you know, because that's my job in life, you know. And the one thing that's amazing with her is she comes up with these fun ideas that she thinks would be fun, and then all of a sudden she applies them and it works out beautifully.
And are you, Kris, kind of that sounding board also?
I'm the sounding board. Okay. I'm kind of
the realist.
Okay.
I try and be somewhat real, you know, and but yet I don't want to squash her.
But I think that realistic
She's very realistic.
and more practical or kind of balanced approach is really important.
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, you can have a lot of great ideas. It doesn't mean they're all good ideas.
Exactly.
And you don't need someone that's just going to be a yes person and then you get yourself into a situation, right? So I think that balance is really important.
Exactly. Because I'm always like, I have an idea. And then I'll say, but ideas are free, so just calm down. Let's just talk about it. And then we do. And then it's like, hey, this, you know, here's some obstacles. Here's the good. Here's the pros and cons. You know, all that. We go through it. So. And so the spa services came about because I'm telling you, so many people literally just came to my house, to that house, to heal. And they would share their stories with me about why they're there. Because I used to live in the house, so I had a lot more interaction with the guests. Because I used to rent room by room. And
so these weren't folks that were coming maybe for an event, a wedding. They were just renting a room, coming as individual guests.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And so just a lot of different scenarios of why they're there to heal, whether it was recovering from surgery, a death in the family, a miscarriage, just so many stories where then they would say, it was so healing. This place is so peaceful. It has such a good vibe. It's got great energy. It's just beautiful, relaxing, and which I love to hear. And so I used to live in the room that's now the spa. And then the spa room was actually my closet. But it's big. It's a 9x12 room. So it's pretty big, but we've got the massage table in there. And so then I thought, well, if I could find good people that they can either help my lodging guests or people can just come now weekdays because that room's available and then they can have their service. I have Reiki, we have sound healing, we have tuning forks, massage. And so now we have red light therapy, so people can come.
So they can come just for the service.
Exactly.
They can stay as well, but they don't have to. They can pick.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can be a full package or just the individual service.
Yep. So they can use it while they're there for the weekend, like let's say with their family or a bachelorette party. They can get facials, they can get massage, or they can come, people can come like the community. We've opened it up for Murphysboro, and of course, just anyone in the area that want to come and experience, because then they can stay there the whole day too. They can get their service and then they can hang out outside on the covered pavilion, the dock. They can fish, they can have coffee, relax, do some work, whatever they want to do. It's open to the community too during the week.
And I think that's a great message to business owners too about how to diversify, right? Like you're not just solely dependent on people booking the rooms or an event. You have a number of different ways that people can engage with the business. And so I think that's a really good good lesson in diversifying.
Because in the winter, as we know, there's not as many tourists. It's the wineries, it's colder, And so I thought, well, what can we do over the winter to help sustain us, for next wedding season? And so then I opened a gift shop, which is something I've always wanted to do. I used to do consignment in Washington. So I actually brought a lot of my things because I paint and I do things with woodworking, or I find things and repurpose. And so then that's in there as well as one of my rooms. That was my living room. And now it's like the parlor when you walk in, and it's a beautiful room. It's the bottom of one of the towers. So it has 5 windows, and it's just a beautiful room. And so now that's the gift shop.
And there are lots of great pictures online. So as we're talking through this, people can find you. Where can people find you? And we'll do this at the end as well. But where can they find those pictures and that sort of thing? You have a website, social media?
Yeah. So we have a website at LabradorLakehouse.com. And then we have a Facebook page as well, the Labrador Lakehouse Inn and Wedding Venue. I'm trying to get on Instagram. I mean, I'm technically on Instagram, but I'm older. So
I understand.
Some of the social media, I need to get better at it, or like hire somebody. But yeah, Facebook, because I'm old.
I hear you. All about Facebook, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the name, Labrador. Yes. Is there a Labrador in your life?
There is.
Okay.
It's Murphy, and he was a stray. And someone put him on Facebook, and he was gorgeous. He's a chocolate lab. And so I got him, and just love labs. And I wanted to make sure that the name reflected the vibe of the house, which is, it's a beautiful Victorian. So I wanted people to make sure they were comfortable. And not, because everybody was thinking, they were saying, oh, it should be like Bella Victorian or something beautiful and elegant. I'm not beautiful and elegant in that way. So plus with having a dog, if you see a dog hair, please don't, hate me or leave a bad review. So I wanted people to know what they were getting, that they could put their feet up on the ottoman, they can relax, they can have a great time and not feel so, elegant.
And I love that you stuck to who you are and the vibe, as you mentioned, that you wanted to create instead of trying to fit into a mold of what you thought people expected.
Yeah, I wanted people to feel comfortable. And this is her fault. She gets credit
Here we go, Kris.
for being dog friendly.
Okay.
Because I, for some reason, thought that I didn't have to allow dogs, which is ridiculous because I travel with my dogs all the time and stay in hotels and everywhere because that's what you do when you're a dog mom. And people that travel with dogs are the best people too. They're very, organized, responsible. So of course, but when I got done, everything's white, right? The linens, the comforters, right? Everything's white. And I thought, we're not going to allow dogs. Hello. And she said, you have to allow dogs.
Yes.
It's called Labrador Lakehouse. And I thought, well, I know, but everything's so beautiful. And you know what? Best decision ever. Yeah. Dogs are
Good job,
welcome.
Kris.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she is my voice of reason, where sometimes I'm like, I don't want my house to get ruined by dogs. Well, it's okay because my dog lived there. I mean, that's really hypocritical. So of course we allow dogs.
Yeah.
Maybe 2, sometimes 3. Somebody snuck in one time 4 because I had to show up to fix something, and I was like, oh, there's 4 dogs. Fantastic. But it's great. I have dog towels, blankets, bowls, a tether. I mean, people love it. They're like, this whole tower of shelves is just for dog towels. And people are like, that's amazing.
I think that's also a way to differentiate yourself, right?
Yes.
Because there are a lot of places that don't allow pets.
Exactly.
And pets are a lot of times part of the family.
That is the
100%.
family. I mean, I have a Yorkie, and he goes everywhere with me.
She calls him son.
Of course.
Well, he's my son.
I know. So that was a good decision. That's all her.
So the house didn't have a name when you arrived, but then this Labrador Murphy, named after the city of Murphysboro,
Exactly. It didn't
came into your life and now
He's the great mascot.
Okay.
Everybody loves that dog. He's nuts, but he's a wonderful dog. And he loves people. He doesn't bark at them. He loves to play. He's never had a bad day in his life. He goes in the lake every day. Every day. Whether it's cold, raining, snowing. There's a little island on the lake when it freezes over, which is scary, but he does run across the ice to this island. We call it Goose Egg Island because that's where the geese come and they lay their eggs, and he messes with them.
Oh, no.
It's sad.
Well, you all make such a great team. So, Kris, Victoria's the visionary, it sounds like, has all the big ideas.
Yep.
And you're the support, the voice of reason.
That I am.
How important is that teamwork? Or did you see yourself, like, ever doing this sort of thing?
You know, I've always seen myself supporting her no matter what it is. And so the neat thing with it is watching it happen and being able to do it, you know, and plus with my past and my skills and
talk about, I don't think you've talked about that.
well, I do renovations and things
Okay.
now that I'm
She's super handy.
old, but
You've held out on us, Kris.
Like
So
she
you
can like do a ceiling
renovations?
fan. Yeah.
so I used to buy homes and fix
Yeah.
them up and stuff, and that
And
was
you built a little garage, like a, what's it called? That cabinet, that closet at the end of the carport. She like built some storage
a storage shed.
area out of nothing.
Well, those
I'm
are some pretty handy skills. when
yeah,
Yeah.
super handy.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, so I was able to help out, you know, and unfortunately, you know, time is not on my side as far as, you know, I'm older. And so
It's getting
you
younger
know, it's-
every single day, Kris.
It's
getting old.
My
We're-
body says different things sometimes,
Sure.
but the cool thing is I get to, you know, I can take my time and do what I need to do, and I'm helpful, you know, I get to help her and help
first.
me. And
At first, though, when we were in Washington,
yes,
she was like, "Don't do it. That's insane." Which it is.
Are you glad she did?
yes, very much so.
100%.
I see the
It
two
is
of you both
insane.
just light up when you talk about it. I mean, it's really a neat experience to share this type of thing with a friend, with a business partner, but to do it as sisters and share this experience together is really something special.
It is.
So let's go back, Victoria. You mentioned people come and they talk about how this house has helped them to heal. It's like a healing place. And I don't know that and maybe it was. I don't know that was maybe the intent when you bought the house, but it seems like it's really emerged as part of the story of the house. And in our conversations before we started recording, I learned that you are no stranger to tragedy in your own life and some healing. So can you share a little bit what you feel comfortable sharing about and a foundation, nonprofit that you have as well?
Yeah, I didn't think about the intent of the home other than to just make it a beautiful place that people could come and, you know, have a wedding, a family reunion. And the house was beautiful in itself. Like the house speaks for itself, which I can't take credit for that. But I did come from Arizona via Washington. And so I've overcome my son. I had a son. He was 2.5. He was murdered in 2002. So I also remember thinking during that early healing of, in 20 years, I don't want to be here emotionally, you know, mentally, because that would be a tragedy to have it completely destroy my life.
Right.
Even though at the time, obviously that's what you feel. Like you feel it's over, right? It's your child. It's my only child. It was unexpected, you know? So I just remember that. And here we are. I was at Labrador Lakehouse on the 20-year anniversary thinking, well, how far I've come. And even though I can be super joyful and feel proud, it didn't come without a huge cost, right?
course.
Like my life wouldn't be this if my son was still alive, obviously. So,
And tell me your son's name.
my son's name is Jordan, and he was a beautiful blonde. I always wanted a blonde, blue-eyed baby, which I don't know how that happened. No, I know. He looks like his father.
And if you're listening and not watching on YouTube, Victoria has brown hair, brown eyes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was just a cute baby blonde angel. And so as the house morphed into this relaxing, healing place, and people just kept saying how they healed. And it was amazing to me. I thought, oh my gosh, like I created this beautiful environment where people, it's not overly decorated. It is decorated like a home, though. It doesn't look like an Airbnb that you would typically see with very sparse decorations. Things, what if they break? I mean, people don't over decorate, as I'm finding out, but this, I wanted it to feel like a home. It was my home for 2 years. So that's how I treated it. And that's how my guests treated it, which has been fantastic. So I started a foundation after my son died, because we went through a 4-year court trial. There was 2 trials, actually. The first one was a hung jury, and then they retried it. And so we were in the judicial system for 4 years, which nobody tells you, hey, this is going to be 4 years, right? They don't know. We don't know. So you're sprinting.
And you're just trying to survive, let alone go through all of that.
Working. Too. I mean, we still had to work. We had to pay bills, and then you're like sprinting along, though. And then all of a sudden it turns into a marathon and you're exhausted and don't even know what the outcome's going to be. So that was really hard, because you can't forget things. You can't move past things. You have to remember details, and because you're testifying. I mean, I was on the stand for 2 days testifying. So you can't put it to rest. You can't, put your child to rest at peace. So I started a foundation during that time, because I had to quit work after the first trial. It was a hung jury. And I didn't even know you could have a hung jury. I mean, you do, but you don't know.
Sure.
I didn't plan for it. So I had to quit my job, because it was postponed 20 times. Literally, where you go to court the week before thinking you're going to pick a jury. And then all of a sudden the defense comes in and says, oh, we're going on vacation, or I have a back problem. I can't sit here. I mean, I don't even know how many excuses there were. She was beside me every step of the way. My mom, some friends in Arizona. I mean, it was a huge thing.
Kris, I can see you reliving this as she's talking, and just the pain and support. So even though you're supporting her now in better times,
right,
that must have been a really difficult time.
It really was.
It was her little nephew.
Yeah.
He was a cutie.
Yep.
He was super sweet.
So you created the foundation.
So I created the foundation because in Arizona, a lot of children drown. Car accidents. I mean, it's a bigger, obviously, city, so you're hearing it on the news. We were on the news a lot, which is horrifying. So our story got out, for good and bad. People were able to judge me without knowing anything about me. Anyway, I would see children and families in the car wash. People would have this is before GoFundMe, before social media. Families that had to bury a child would have car washes. That was the big thing in Arizona, to raise money to bury their child. And here I am, not having to work. I cashed out my 401k, right, just so that I could survive. But I had resources. And as horrific as my situation was and is, it can be worse. And I thought, that's insane that these people are grieving, but yet having to raise money.
Because it's such a financial burden at that point, because people, our age plan on those expenses.
Right.
We plan for that, but we don't plan to bury a child, and all of the expenses associated with that.
Right.
So,
and there's no time to plan. Their child, it's unexpected, and that's who we focused on helping, was the unexpected death of a child, and to help pay for funeral expenses. I would go meet with the parents and just help them through the funeral.
And that had to have been
process.
Healing.
It was. And
itself.
that's where I was at the time.
Okay.
This is what I can do to make an impact. We can raise money. We had fundraisers. We put together dinners, and we went literally with a wagon and went door to door and told people, and had flyers and said, this is what we're doing. We're having a dinner. Can you donate spaghetti and spaghetti sauce? And they did. And so it was amazing. So we raised a lot of money. We helped about 14 families in Arizona. We actually raised money to go to South Africa and work in an orphanage. And so we brought clothes, food. It was over Christmas. And then we helped a little township, where they didn't see a lot of white people. It was a township where the community, they don't leave. They weren't welcome to branch out and leave. So we got a tour guide that was from that town, and he helped us find families that needed our resources that we brought. We brought medical supplies because one of my friends worked at a medical supply company. And so, ironically, a baby that we had met, that a mom was like a pseudo foster mom. So when the police would find babies stranded because their parents would die of AIDS or tuberculosis or something, right? And these little toddlers would be walking around this township. And they would bring the babies to this woman who was a little more well off, had a house and resources. And we met this beautiful baby that she just had gotten from the police, and they planned a party for us. Well, by the time the party came, the baby had died. And she was devastated. And so to the point where she said, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, she thought she's not helpful. This is too much. And she was literally on the floor in a puddle in the corner. And we lifted her up and we said, we're going to help you. And you are doing a good thing. She had other children that she had been fostering. And we planned the funeral. We gave her the money. And to be invited to a funeral is a very honorable thing. It's a very sacred ceremony. And so here we are in South Africa in a township of all native African people. We are like some people had never seen white people. And here we were having this funeral for this baby. And I thought, we are doing the work of the Jordan Rader Foundation. Unexpectedly, of course, we wanted to do other things like help this orphanage, which we did. And then here's the crazy part. When we left for South Africa, the verdict had not come in of the trial. Because 6 months before, because it kept getting postponed, we told the judge, hey, we're trying to plan this trip to South Africa. This is what we want to do. And he said, oh, the trial will be done by then. Book the trip. Because he knew, obviously, the 4 years that we've gone through. He said, book the trip. So we did. There was like 15 of us. We booked the trip, and we had to leave. And the verdict, they took like 4 days to deliberate. I don't know. It was torture. And I left, and now I'm on a flight, a 30-hour trip. So we had a website for the Jordan Rader Foundation, and I let Kris figure out how to like log in and all that. And so she could post the verdict. So we had to get up the morning of the next day or whatever, we were 2 days later. I had no idea. So I'm in no zone, no phones, nothing for over 30 hours. The next day, we had to go to a internet cafe in the town of Rondebosch, near South Africa, near Cape Town. And you have to put like dimes in. Okay, so I log in, and we see Kris had posted guilty on all verdicts. No, guilty on all charges.
Counts.
On all counts. Sorry, should I say that again? It was guilty on all counts. And we screamed and cried, and we all ran outside because all my friends are like hovering around, and I'm like, I am sick to my stomach. I am dying inside. I did not know what, it's this. It was the scariest thing ever. So when we see Kris post guilty on all counts, and we ran outside and screamed and danced, and it was amazing. So that's how that trip started.
Wow.
And it was just so freeing and amazing and, sad, but yet like justice. We fought for justice for 4 years, and it was over.
And the beginning and continuation of the Jordan Rader Foundation that came out of your own tragedy, but has helped so many people, and it sounds like has then translated to your life here in Southern Illinois. So the Labrador Lakehouse is the way I see it, it's not just a business. It's really become, there's been more of a purpose behind it than just a business.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yes. It's just a safe haven that was a safe haven for me to get out of a job that I wasn't enjoying, to start something that was in my head for so long, and I was doing it. And even overcoming COVID and all of that, it was like, no, I can still do this. Like, I can do it. And then it hit me about 2 years in. Well, no, because we just started it. We just had our first guest a few months ago. But I thought, like, this house is huge and it's beautiful and it's people love it and they are healed and I'm healing, of course.
Sure.
And so I thought I can do the Jordan Rader Foundation here. And of course, not in the same capacity. I'm not there emotionally as I was when I had buried my child and helping other people bury their child, but I can help them heal and allow them to stay here. I mean, during the week, nobody's there. We're just there cleaning it. We're there organizing, decorating, whatever, doing projects. And people can come and stay here and not worry about anything. They can talk to me if they want to, if they need another mom that knows what they're dealing with. And then with the spa services, it like all came together as soon as the spa services came to fruition. And I went, oh my gosh, because I would have loved to just disappear for a day or two and get a massage and just veg and not have to deal with my life or what I was dealing with, the tragedy, all that, the pain and all that. So I had a Facebook friend, which I didn't know, but she was a realtor. So I thought, oh, I'm going to befriend her. She's local. And she had lost her son in a car accident, and it had been a few months out. So I knew she was kind of probably going to be in a better mental state to be able to say, hey, I need to heal, or I need to focus on my grief or my relationship with my husband or myself, whatever. And invited them to stay, and they did. And they got massages. We got donations. We received so much love and support. We have a Facebook page for that too, the Jordan Rader Foundation.
So tell me, so the Facebook page for the Jordan Rader Foundation.
Yes.
And then you have the website and the Facebook for Labrador Lakehouse.
Yes.
And it sounds like the venue is a place for whatever people want to make of it, right?
Exactly.
For the celebrations of life.
Exactly.
The weddings, all the things, for the relaxing times of life, for the times when they just need to get away and heal.
And family reunions. And this weekend, unfortunately, we have a family coming for a funeral, and they're from all different parts of the country. And this just booked last weekend. So we weren't even anticipating a guest. And we just said, come, yes, book. And they want to have extra people pop in, which is usually not something we do because, you're supposed to just have your lodging guests. But we said, yes, please come and pop in, have people just be able to visit. It's like a family reunion under horrible circumstances. So we just want them to enjoy the space.
I cannot wait to see how this story continues to unfold, because I think there's so much more to come that the two of you, don't even know at this point. Like, I feel like you've seen that already. It's sort of become its own thing and evolved and emerged into something even bigger and greater and better and with more purpose than maybe you could have ever imagined. So I can't wait to continue to follow this story. I hear it as one of taking a leap of faith, of doing what you've wanted to do your whole life, which is a lot of business owners, whether they're already in business or they might be listening and they've always had that idea in their mind. It's never too late.
It's never too late. Do it.
Right.
Do it and do it
because
sooner.
You wouldn't trade it for anything, it sounds like.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I was financially secure. I mean, I had a job of 10 years. It was a very good job. She was a TSA Homeland Security worker. That sounds so lame to just say work. Supervisor. There you go. Supervisor sounds better.
Yes.
And so we had great jobs or careers or whatever you want to call it. And, we lived within our means. And so I had some money, but I cashed in my 401k because I thought, this is my retirement. I'm investing in a home that was severely underpriced. So that was a good investment. And I'm not rich. So I don't ever want people to think, oh, this is some rich woman that
Like you
has
have
had
to
an
have
easy
all the means.
life.
Yeah. Figure it out.
That's why I wanted to name it Labrador Lakehouse, because we're just regular people that, decided to do something. And if worst case, if it failed, I can just get a job. I mean,
Sure.
I'm employable, and I thankfully have never had to come to that. I've had a couple little part-time jobs here and there. I couldn't even get hired during COVID, which was sad. But, all the things, we just keep going forward and keep making improvements.
I think the bottom line is that she had a dream, and that dream has carried her across the country. It is carried to reintroduce the Jordan Rader Foundation. She's wanting to help other families out there that really need it.
Yes.
When you're going through such a traumatic time in your life, it's just nice to have somebody that understands. And I can understand to a point, but she totally gets it. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to just keep her. She just dreams, and that's the important part. If as long as you have a dream, you can go for anything.
Absolutely,
there's nothing to stop you.
Exactly,
and that's what I see in her every day. Her dreams, and so we're working on a village.
We're gonna do I want other little cabins. I want to.
So there's more to the dream. There's more to this.
There's
story.
more to the dream.
There's more to come.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure just to talk with you both and not only hear about how you came to Southern Illinois and that Zillow. Thank God for Zillow and the realtor
Zillow
with the great picture.
Yep.
Always
Zillow should be paying me. Yes, exactly. It's part of my story.
Well, we're just so happy to have you here in Southern Illinois. We hope that it feels like home to you. We hear story after story of people finding this region and discovering that it's something really special.
It really is.
And
It is.
It sounds like that's part of your story as well. So one of following your dreams, perseverance, and then
trusting yourself.
There you go.
Just trust.
There you
I
go.
trust in the Lord. Trust in yourself. Do it sooner. Do it sooner, because we're feeling old. It would have been nice to do this 10 years ago, but timing, of course, isn't something we can control. But
the timing is perfect.
The timing is perfect, and you just have to do it.
Yeah,
you really do. Because what? So you fail, you sell a house, you move on. I don't know.
Of course.
I remember my girlfriend said on Facebook, we still stay in touch from Arizona, and she said, "You're so brave." And I was like, what is she talking about? I'm just buying a house. What's the big deal? And then I always think of that when we do something really cool or big or something comes to fruition. It's like, because it is scary, or it's, it's a leap of faith. And I thought, I kind of get what she's saying, I didn't realize I was being brave. I would never call myself brave.
No, I think owning a business is brave. It's courageous. Not everyone does it, but I think it's also better than wondering what if.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right.
I didn't want that.
So I have a favorite question that I always ask at the end, and I feel like you've shared this to a point, but I'll allow you time to share it maybe in a concise way here as we wrap up. And this is for both of you, Victoria and for Kris. What is your why? What gets you up every day? What keeps you going in the business? Or just tell me what your why is. Kris, do you want to start?
First?
She's looking at you.
I'm still looking for my why.
My why was that I somehow always knew what I was capable of. Because of my dreams and my ideas, and working for someone else or in the corporate world my whole life. I mean, since I was 16, I've always worked. I thought, it's great. I've done great things at my jobs and that I've been happy with. But then I thought, what if I did that for myself? What would that look like? To not have any restrictions or anyone else's ideas and I thought, I don't
want to miss that. I want you to say that again, because I think that really hits home with a lot of people, that we are pouring into other people's dreams every single day, right? And you decided to pour into your own.
I thought, what if I took all that energy and my talents and the things that I know I'm good at and the things that get me excited at my jobs and my, my work history. What if I did that for myself? And I thought, I think that would be kind of cool. And I just thought, I can do it. I can at least try. Because, like I said, if you fail, so-called fail, I don't think it's a failure. It's just like, oh, that didn't work out.
Exactly.
So I can always work, I can always go back into the work world. And so I guess I was not really afraid. I just thought, I'm going to trust myself. What if I just trust myself and just, do it? And then I did it.
You did it. You are doing it.
We're doing it. And, over all the obstacle. I mean, COVID was a huge obstacle for everybody. I mean, so many businesses went out of business.
Sure. Right?
I mean, how devastating, how tragic for them. That was their dream. And a lot of them were probably really successful before COVID, I mean, so they didn't deserve that. And so the fact that I'm still here and doing it is amazing. I'm super grateful. It's wonderful. It doesn't look like I thought it was going to look 5 years in,
Never does.
Because I was I'm like 2 years behind is how I just look at it. Like, yes, I would have wanted to take that money that I had to pay for that I had to pay for my mortgage and bills that I thought were going to be helped with paying customers, so I don't have the landscaping that I want. And I don't have some of the things like the little cabins that I want, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there.
You're going to get there one step at a time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, Kris,
yes.
As I watch you, so for those that are actually watching on YouTube, they'll be able to see, your expressions. But I've watched you throughout this interview and just the pride that you have, the big sister, right? And you're just watching your little sister over here.
I know.
Doing her thing. It has been so good to see. So is that part of your why? Or tell me, you said you were searching for your why. What is your why?
I keep having to readjust my why. I really do. But the one thing that I've never strayed from is the support. Regardless, I support her. Whether I think she's nuts or not, I mean, seriously.
We all need Kris's in our lives.
We do. Yeah. We do. Everyone should have one.
So that's the beauty of all this, watching and then also being a part of it, giving her my input and ideas and
helping with projects and painting.
It's so important.
It really is.
Because sometimes I'm just like, Kris, I don't want to go over there.
I can't do this.
Motivate me.
Because none of us can
Say
do it
something.
alone. Any business, you cannot do it alone. You have to have that support system.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you're a big part of that.
I try to be.
She had the camera. I had a camera, and I gave her the login, and so she would go, "Hey, what's that car that drove in your driveway?" And I'd be like, "What? What's that?" Because it's a big house, so if you're in the back or you're up top, or she'd say, "You have a package on your porch." I'd be like, "Stop it! Leave me alone! I'm cleaning." So when she got here, obviously that's been a huge support. But I want to say this.
Sure.
During COVID, when I'm sure everyone was going out of their minds that didn't have their business, I remember calling her and I said, because just nights were just awful because I was alone in this huge house. And I said to her, don't let me fail. Don't let me fail. And she said, I won't. I won't. And there was a time when she just said, here's my credit card number. Use it if you need it, because we didn't know. Sure. Nobody knew. I couldn't spend money. You had to live just like you were, like you had no money because we didn't know
what was going to happen.
And she said, I will never let you fail.
We all need Kris's in our
We
lives.
do.
Yeah. And now you're seeing better days. And
yes.
I just cannot, as I mentioned earlier, can't wait to see where this story continues to go. And it's definitely not over.
It's not.
It's not over.
Yeah.
It's just beginning.
It's just
That's
beginning.
right.
Look, we got a high five.
High five.
So with that, tell us again where folks can find you.
So we have a website for LabradorLakehouse.com and also the Jordan Rader Foundation.com. No, .org, sorry.
Jordan Rader Foundation.org.
and then Facebook pages and Instagram. Technically,
Okay.
I don't know how
it's coming. To be
It's coming.
continued.
It's Instagram's real confusing, which is so sad.
We'll have to get you some support.
We need
I know.
our niche.
I need someone to volunteer to help me with my Instagram account.
There we go.
And maybe TikTok. I'd love to do some
see.
videos.
Okay.
We have a lot of funny stories, but for another time.
Yes. So Victoria, Kris,
Yes.
Labrador Lakehouse wedding.
Inn.
Oh, let me back it up then. Labrador Lakehouse Inn and Wedding Venue.
Yes. Thank you so
Murphysboro,
much.
Illinois.
Yep.
Thank you
Yes.
for coming to share your story, how you got here, the foundation, just really opening yourselves up. You know, I've said it so many times that people love to support businesses, their products, their services, but really it's the people behind the business and getting to the heart of the issue that I think is so important. And you all have definitely done that today. So,
Oh, thank you.
so thank you for
much.
coming and joining us.
Thanks for inviting us.
It's been a great
Okay.
experience. Thank you.
And thank you to all of you for joining us today and the small town big business community. I also want to thank our sponsors once again: Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond, Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and of course, Southern Illinois Now is happy to be a sponsor as well. As I mentioned earlier, you can find us on our YouTube channel. You can also find us on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Small Town Big Business. And again, don't forget to subscribe. It is free, and you will see all the episodes that we've recorded also in the archive. So we're well over 100 episodes now. Very excited about that. Thanks again to our other co-hosts, Russ Williams and Jennifer Olson, and our amazing producer at Union Street Arts, Luke O'Neill. We'll have to get you on the other side of the camera at some point, Luke. So again, thank you for joining us today, and have a great day.